Good morning. Okay, so this video is about Axie's infinity, right? How Axie's infinity's Ponzi economy really works, right? I want to clarify on some myth, right? So there's some perception about Axie's infinity that I don't believe that they are correct. These are very popular opinions that I don't believe they are correct. These are what I call myth. So I'm going to share my perspective and my opinion on how the Axie's infinity economy really works. How it really works, right? So it's quite different from what other people think. And okay, yeah. So just a brief introduction of myself. My channel is Cryptonomics. So this is my first video in English language, right? Previously, I have been doing my crypto channel mostly in Mandarin Chinese. Yeah. So this is going to cater to a different kind of audience, not just in terms of language, because for my Chinese speaking audience, right, I'm primarily focused on crypto literacy, like crypto 101 kind of stuff. So generally, the audience for English speaking subscribers are they're quite literate with cryptocurrency. So I'm going to talk about things that are more in depth, right, more analytical oriented. So what is Axie's infinity and how it really works, right? So this video is more targeted at people who have a basic understanding of Axie's infinity, right? So the number one myth, right, that I think is that people have is, I always hear people talking about this, right? Oh, just wait for the land game, right? Wait for land game, then everything will be right. And if land game is not coming out soon, this game has no hope, right? I think this perception is fundamentally incorrect. It's not a games, right? The games isn't driving the economy. It is the income. So it's really about the SRP price, the SRP what SRP price, right? So let us recap what made Axie's infinity successful in the first place, right? And how Sky Mavis really make it, right? So this is what I call the Sky Mavis modus operandi, right? So the first step, right? The first step is actually people always talk about okay, Sky Mavis creating a beautiful game, and then people start to drawing in. People start to drawing in. Then there is a increased demand in Axies, and then there's an increase in demand in Axies. This leads to increase in breeding demand, and increase in breeding demand lead to increase in the demand for SRP and ASX, right? And that's how SRP and ASX price went up. That perception, that narrative is the commonly accepted narrative, and that narrative is fundamentally wrong, because people don't play a game because it's fun or it's interesting or it's for whatever reason. People play a game because it can make money. So it actually started with Sky Mavis they themselves pump the SRP price up, right? So it's just a market manipulation, right? This happens in all cryptocurrencies. It's not something they just see yesterday, right? So basically, they just pump the SRP price up, right? So this is what you get in an unregulated market, right? So once they pump the SRP price up, so there's greater demand for Axies. The reason why greater demand for Axies, because we know Axies and SRP. You get 3 Axies, you can form a team and an SRP, right? And therefore when SRP price go up, the ROI of Axies go up, right? So ROI I put in inverted commas, right? So when Axies price goes up, and the player number goes up, because SRP price go up, ROI of Axies go up. More people are interested to play the game, right? So player numbers go up, transaction revenue increase. So all these lead to, because there are more people doing the transactions, so there are more WETH, right? That is locked up in the community chats, right? So because we know Sky Mavis take a cut of the transaction fee. This is like 4.25%. And so when the players when they breed the axis, the AXS, they need to use AXS. These AXS are not burnt. They actually are transferred into the community chest. So what happened is that in the community chest, right, what I call the CC, so you have the increasing amount of WETH being locked up. You have increasing amount of AXS being locked up. So all these increase the value of this community chest, right? So as a result, the AXS value also go up. Why AXS value also go up? Remember, AXS is something like stocks, right? For this product. So the stocks or the stock valuation of this project depends on the asset that it holds, right? In this community chest. So when the asset value go up, naturally AXS value go up. So this is a chain of cause and effect. So when all this happen, right? When all this happen, Sky Mavis, this company, Sky Mavis is the company running this project. Their valuation also go up. So Sky Mavis, right? How do they make money? They hold 21% of the AXS supply, right? AXS supply. So because AXS value go up, the Sky Mavis valuation also go up. So Sky Mavis valuation is more complicated, right? It's depending on how they negotiate with the VC, with the institutional investors. So they are going to look at two things: their community chest value, how much WETH you have, how much AXS you have in the community chest, and do you have a track record of growing number of users? And they have everything. So they raise money in the right time. So this is a carefully planned Ponzinomics. The end goal is to get a highest valuation from the institutional investors. So it started with pumping the SRP price up. So there's more transaction. There is more user growth. There's more lockup assets in the community chest. It's easier for them to negotiate a higher valuation from the institutional investors. And if you look at the timeline supports my thesis, right? So let's look at which token gets pumped first, right? It's SLP, right? This is first in the late April, the first pump. The second pump in July. Remember, July is not a good time for crypto, right? Is right in the middle of the so-called crypto bear market. Somebody will say it's better. It's the bear market. So remember, SRP get pumped first. Then followed by AXS, right? So when did AXS gets pumped up, right? Late July, right? So it's very clear. SRP pump is leading the whole bull run for Axie Infinity, and the argument that the reason why we have SRP go up is because of the increase in the breeding demand, and that is nonsense. It's because breeding takes at least 7 days, right? If you play the game, right, you know it takes at least 7 days. You can't have such a steep rise in the price, right? And then all of a sudden people decide to breed in in basically like in a few days, in 2 to 3 days, there's a sudden spike in the breeding demand, and suddenly the breeding demand collapse. This is not how breeding demand works. So that narrative doesn't work. So we see clearly that SLP get pumps up first, followed by ASX. And of course, ASX is subject to manipulation as well, because most of the ASX are actually locked up in community chairs as staking reward. So the circulating supply is very, very small. It's very easily manipulated, just like SLP. But I think this really more organic growth like driving ASX, whereas SLP is completely being manipulated up, right? ASX, there's no more organic growth, because we know that community chairs, in the community chairs, 90% of the revenue come from AXS demand for breeding. This really organic growth driving these the price of AXS up. And when the AXS price reached top around October, what happened to Sky Mavis? They start to raise fund. Sky Mavis raises $152 million at 3.0 billion valuation for Axie Infinity play to an NFT game, right? You see that? October, so everything's planned. And they know that the valuation and the user base cannot sustain, because SLP price cannot sustain. So they know very well, This is by design, right? This rise and crash is by design. They know that this, if not, they wouldn't be hurried to do this fundraising right during the peak. So they play the institutional investor as well, right? So if let's say you are the institutional investor, and if you're raising fund at let's look at the AXS price, right? Because as I said, raising fund, when they do the fundraise, they look at the user growth and the value of the assets in the community chest, right? And what's the growth trajectory, right? So when you have a declining user base, declining transaction, declining activity, naturally the WETH lockup will drop, the ASS value will decline, and the Sky Mavis valuation, which is a proxy for all these matrix, the valuation will also drop, right? So if you do valuation now, if this is like 3 billion, right, probably is it 3 billion? This is probably like they will be very lucky to get I would say like 2 billion, right? Probably not probably not even 1.5 billion, right? So they do everything at the best time. So if you look at Sky Mavis, they have a track record of a perfect market timing. So basically, they are in control of the entire process. They know exactly what they are doing. They have a plan, and this plan is their own plan. They do not share with us. Of course, they do not share with their institutional investors. If their institutional investor know what's going to happen, they will not give such a generous valuation. Okay, so what will happen in the future, right? So, but having said that, okay, I still remain somewhat optimistic about the future. I'm cautiously optimistic, right? So, let's look at the past, right? So if you buy at the peak of the valuation in terms of, like, say, forming scholarship teams, you'll be losing a lot of money, right? So the real winners are people who bought AXS very early. If you form your scholarship very early, yes, you can make money, but it will not be as good as AXS, just holding AXS, right? So this is looking back. Of course, hindsight is 2020, we know, but the reason is we're looking at the history is to trying to project what is the future going to be like. So if you can have a time machine to go back, you know that you want to buy AXS early. That is how you play the game, right? So if you have a time machine that you can go back, you probably, given perfect hindsight, you probably want to buy SLP first, right before the pump. Then when SLP pump up, you want to sell all your SLP, then start to buy XX, right? So there's a time lag between the SLP pump and XX form. So that will multiply your wealth like crazy. So scholarship wise, it's not as lucrative scholarship due to nerfing and all the problems, right? So looking into the future, right? So the question is, what's next, right? So after knowing like how Sky Mavis really play the game, so we know there must be a bait. There must be a bait. What do I mean by bait? So SLP is basically the bait, right? The SLP is a bait. They pump the SLP price up. So when you pump the SLP price up, right, increase the ROI of the assets in the game, right? So they're going to have a bait. They're going to pump the price up. And what is the bait is going to be like? It definitely cannot be AXS. We know there are only 3 tokens, and it doesn't seem to be like a Ron, because Ron is the bait. Ron is their favorite boy, right? Ron is the next AXS they're trying to pump, right? Ron is the asset that I think they want to hold in their community chest, right? Because they have like great dream for Ron. It's not a thing that's going to be give to us easily. So I think the inflationary asset that which is going to act as a bait is there's only one candidate is I think it's still SLP. So that's why I'm still bullish on SLP, right? Of course, I'm cautiously bullish because timing the SLP bottom is going to be very difficult. Right? We don't know how bad it can go before it gets better, but I think they are going to pump SLP up again, because this is their modus operandi, right? So a lot of people say, you know what, SLP is not essential. We can do with other assets as reward. But the thing is, people are not going to buy it because for the reason that if your tokenomics is fundamentally about just flipping asset, flipping NFT, then what's the difference between you GameFi versus OpenSea, right? I can actually just do it in OpenSea, right? Well, why do I need to learn how to play complete the game? So the reason why I come here to play games is I want to buy assets that generate some kind of yield. This is what GameFi is all about. So to have the kind of yield, right, I must have a reward, a token that is very attractive. The best case is a token that is appreciating in price and which is pumped up by the developers. So I think that most likely they're going to play a similar kind of game, right? And they're going to pump SLP price up again. And we also know they are heavily promoting their running sidechain. We see running sidechain process like 500% more total transaction than Ethereum last November. Right? So they have great hope for running sidechain, which is a bigger objective than Axie Infinity, because land game is good, but it's just a continuation of the game, right? It's just a continuation of the old game or old way of playing this, right? So what is the play? What's the difference between land game and the fighting arena? From a tokenomic point of view, there's no difference, right? Because at the end of the day, we care about SLP prices, not the nature of the games. So we know that eventually the ultimate goal is to but we are not very sure on what was what's going to happen in the meter. So we know that it's like in the past, they pump SLP up. This is a necessary causal action to have debate. So we begin to invest in assets such as Axies. And when it gets nerfed, we buy new Axies, we start to trade. All these creates fund flow into the community chest. So this leads to higher valuation in AXS. That's what they want, high valuation in AXS, and they can talk to the institutional investor. Hey, look, we have a growing user base. We have a lot of money in this in the CC, in the community chest. So give us a good valuation, right? So that was the previous goal, which they are successful. I think this is the reason why they are very snobbish, right? It seems that they don't really care what the players are suffering, right? But we are not sure what was going to happen in the middle. Because we don't know, right? Is it going to be lane game? Lane game seems to take forever. Is it going to be playing free to earn, right? Free to earn, which means you just invest your time. You don't need to buy Axie, which is very, very likely, because think of it. If they want to pump raw token as the final objective, right? They want to pump. The bait is going to SLP, as I argued. There's no other candidate, and they definitely needs a bait. So what's going to happen in the middle, right? It's going to be they're going to create games that's going to lead you to do a lot of transactions, because the more transaction you do using the Ronin network, the more you are likely to use RON token. Yeah, so they're going to force you to buy RON token. So we know. So we know that this is their next plan. This is the next plan. We are not sure what's in the middle, but I'm somewhat confident that they are going to pump SLP price again, and their next goal is to pump RON token, right? Because RON token is going to be from the bulk of their asset. They're going to give 10% to the public by staking, but they're going to keep 90% for themselves. So they are going to be the ultimate beneficiary for RON token, for the Ronin network. So they're going to, in the middle, create all the games and incentive for you to buy RON token. So moving forward, like one easy way to make money, one possible easy way is to just buy RON token, right? Buy RON token, you can stake, or you can place your bet in the FTX future market. There is this service available. I think it's around $3.5, $3.6 right now for the RON token. So this is one way. A more aggressive way is to bet on the reversal in the SLP, right? Because for people to believe that RON token have value, they need to create a demand for the game. They create before they can create a demand for the game, people need to see a good ROI to play. People need to see a good ROI to play it. They have to pump SLP up again, and there's no other token other than SLP. So if you follow my my logical investigation, right? It's like a detective work, right? How try to guess how criminals think, right? So this is what I call Sky Mavis model sovereignty, right? So you want to play the game in a very aggressive way. You can bet on SLP reversal, but it's going to be very dangerous. Okay, so right now I don't buy and hold SLP. Right? I do it in the farming RON token. I basically farm RON token using SLP with WETH, the LP pair, right? So if SLP go down, I'm going to lose money, but hopefully I'm compensated in the RON token. So, but actually, SLP SLP WETH farming for RON token is not a bet on the RON token itself, right? Financially. It's more of a proxy on betting on the reversal for SLP, right? Because daily reward for RON token is not allowed. but the daily fluctuation for SLP is a lot higher. So how my LP is going to perform is going to be dependent on how SLP do. So a very aggressive strategy is to try to time bottom for SLP, bet on the SLP reversal. So once SLP start to climb to a reasonable level, and this is hopefully this coincides with some sort of new game release, definitely. Then you look for an opportunity to exit, take this multiple of money, and put it to buy the wrong token, right? So I think this is how we want to play the game in the future, right? Just like in the past, right? If you can go back to history, you want to buy before SLP pump. Then when SLP reach a high, reach a new high, start investing in ASX, right? So I think this is likely to be this is likely to play out in the future. Right? Okay, that's all for today. You can, if you like my content, you can subscribe my channel. Yeah. Good luck and hope everyone make money.